doing a podcast. Thing Del Quandle. Fuck, but it's not gonna fit on the screen. You gotta be kidding me. Hey everybody, how's it going? Yeah, whatever. So, I got fucking. As I said before, I I I did look at. I did post something on TikTok before about looking at the trailer live here, which I mean I've already seen it, but getting some information about it would be pretty cool.
Rock solid.
Sent from an Android, bruh. Hey, thanks, John. Bruh.
Oh, an extended look. I see.
Pokemon Legends
I
ZA
did not
is a
realize
new
it was an
title in the
extended
Pokemon
look.
series. The story takes place
Oh,
in
wait, is
Lumio
this just
City,
from
the
the
largest
actual
city in the Kalos
presentation? Oh,
region.
this looks like this
With
from...
Jeez, I already freaking explained this before you got here.
beautiful vistas.
Jeez.
These days,
Yeah, how
Lumio
dare I
is
not be here
undergoing
for the
a
explanation?
high-tech urban
Ay.
redevelopment plan to turn it into a city that people and Pokemon truly share.
God, I really am
Okay,
curious.
so let me see. Okay, so go back here for a second. I like you can see that they're just like hanging out, which is kind of cool. Um
Yeah, it's just kind of... Like, the way that they set up the trailer, it's like the whole thing is like... At least in the beginning, it's like, oh, it's a city where Pokemon and people live together, and just... I mean, we'll get into it a bit later, too, with some of the other stuff, but I kind of just like seeing the Pokemon vibing as they're going about their business across Lumio City. Like, it's a nice touch.
yeah, especially because it's from what I remember, um at least with this is actually accurate. I'm pretty sure you can find I know where this is in Lumio City because there's a side quest in this area with like one of the punks.
I'm glad you
Uh,
recognize it, because it's like, I do not recognize specific bits of geometry from
I played
Lumio
too.
City,
I was
which...
one of those. I was one of those people who played way too much X and Y just to defend it.
I see.
But I really did like X and Y. Like it wasn't just to defend it. I think I really do think that something is there, and a lot of people who played it recently understood, like, are realizing it.
Hello?
Hey, Techie.
Uh,
But
Hi. I didn't know if I was gonna come stream today because I'm not feeling the best, but I think
aw.
I'm feeling good enough to stream at least.
Well, hey, we're
I'm not
happy to have you here.
playing. Thanks. I'm not gonna be playing anything intense though, just Dreamlight Valley and probably Oh Kitty Island Adventure.
Yeah,
all right, let's.
right now, Jaws and I are just reacting to the extended look of the Pokemon Legends ZA trailer that was in the Pokemon Presents presentation earlier today.
Oh,
Yeah, and we were talking about something that So do you remember when you saw that card for it was the Pikachu card, the Pikachu immersive,
no.
and how you said you really liked how the Pokemon felt like that they were just living because of
Yeah.
how they were shown. I think Lumio City really does a good job of showing that as well. And we're focused right
And
now on
like
the
showing a proper ecosystem of Pokemon.
yeah, like they're showing Trubbish and what Garbodor's like hanging out near garbage and like sleeping and just hanging out around it and like right and they look like regular animals.
Yeah, and it's like, the trailer does, at least at a couple points, set up the whole thing that it's like, oh, it's a city where people and Pokemon live together. Part of that is through the wild areas, which we'll get to later on, but I just kind of like the vibes that they give off. That it, like, they really do make it feel like that this is a place where people and Pokemon really do just kind of like coexist, like right next to each other. Which, I mean, I will admit, I'm kind of like, I'm pretty much on the exact opposite side of things as Jaws is when it comes to Gen 6. Like, I'm one of those people that feels like that Gen 6 was just kind of a glorified tech demo more than anything. Like, I don't dislike it, but I'm one of those people where I'm just like, I feel like it had missed potential, and I'm really interested to see what they do with Lumio City in this game to like really bring the region up for me. So, like, at least from what they showed so far, I'm excited to see what they do with the city to really, really make it pop.
Let's continue.
Yeah, well,
Oh wait,
Gen 6 is probably one of my favorites, if only because, first of all, it introduced one of my favorite Pokemon of all time. Second of all, it introduced petting.
Yeah, I like. I mean, I understand why some people are kind of frustrated with it, but I do like Pokemon and Me as an idea. Just like being able to pet your Pokemon and give them baths and treats. Like it's cute. It's very cute, and it's in line with a lot of the themes of the Pokemon series as a whole. Where it's like they're more than just battle partners. Like it's like they're your friends. You want to take care of your friends.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. The
it's
only
like the,
thing I don't like about me is that certain Pokemon just could not be touched. For example, Slugma. I mean, that doesn't
Reggie,
really affect me much because I don't give a damn about Slugma, but some
Regice as
little
well.
kid who really loves Slugma is going to be sorely disappointed if they ever play that game.
it's like it's kind of funny. I get where you're coming from, Techie. Like, it is definitely an understandable concern, but my first thought was, damn, I can't touch the actual lava that's right in front of me. I'm so disappointed. 0 out of 10. I can't burn my hands.
Well, they could always do like lava safety gloves or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Foxy
give
was
him an
always
give him an
skiing
oven mitt
around
or
with
something.
lava.
It'll make it fine. It'll be
I think of
fine.
I think of Regice when that happens because because you can't touch it, but it freezes your hand. To be fair, I don't know many people who actually want to pet their Regice, but I'm pretty sure there's a few.
I'm sure, like, there's 1,000 Pokemon out there. I guarantee you, at least one person wants to pet every single Pokemon in existence. Like, it's
Speaking of
bound to happen.
speaking of which, I might actually take this whole React segment out of and put it on YouTube because it I don't know, it seemed interesting to do this, and
Yeah,
I
I
put
mean,
I
hey,
put it
however you want to do
I
it.
put I put it out on TikTok this morning that I was gonna do this, and it got a bunch of likes for some reason.
Oh, nice.
Because it's a trending topic, of course it's gonna get a bunch of likes.
Yeah, that's also a good point.
All right,
There's a-
let's start this over again.
We share.
Yep, let us carry on.
After you
We
arrive
managed to
in
make a
Lumio
5-minute
City,
diversion out of
you'll
a
meet 3
single
Pokemon.
screenshot.
One
I
of which
mean,
will become
mission
your first
accomplished.
partner.
We've done it.
Chikorita,
We are official
Tepe,
content creators.
and Totodile.
What you mean,
You'll choose one
we?
of these
I
Pokemon
just got here.
Okay, here's my take. I like these models a lot. I was talking to John about it before. I like how Totodile looks like it's not thinking about anything.
I love Totodile.
Yeah.
Totodile's my favorite of that region. He's so cute.
It's like there are no thoughts behind those eyes. Like that creature is just living in a completely different dimension from the rest of us, and he
So,
needs a hug.
so Techie's choosing
I love
Totodile, and
Totodile. I've always loved Totodile.
John is
Even
choosing
after I
Tepig. Then I
found
guess
out
I gotta
that it
choose
like
Chikorita.
even after I found out that it basically just like never lets go of something if it bites onto it, which I mean makes very little sense for a crocodile Pokemon because crocodiles and alligators don't really bite. They kind of shake stuff around because they can't really chew anything.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, I thought about it just now, and I'm kind of curious. Like, I'm actually going to look this up, but I think isn't Totodile, or at least one of the Pokemon in the evolution line, like, aren't they known as like the Lockjaw Pokemon?
Yeah, they are.
Yes, crocodile, I
Okay,
believe.
okay, yeah. Let's see. Totodile is Big Jaw. Big Jaw. Okay, they're just Big Jaw. I guess maybe I'm thinking of
Totodile's also
maybe I'm thinking
Totodile's also like part dinosaur too. So like yeah, it is definitely a crocodile, but it's also like a dinosaur.
that's
Well,
a pretty
whatever
neat
it is, I
combo.
love it. I've always loved it. I
And
always pick it.
And one thing I
That's
always
part
find
of the
about
reason I really like water types, actually.
the biggest thing I have to say about the whole line is that no matter what, even for alligators, kind of looks like a friend because it's still kind of got the smile. Like it never loses that smile in its
Like
evolutions.
even when it is fully evolved, like it has like a certain like derpy quality to it that it's like, yeah, obviously it's an alligator, like it looks ferocious, but at the same time, something about it just it just looks funny. It's like one moment it might just like bite something's arm off, but then the other moment it'll just be like just lying on its stomach, just being like, "Ugh."
Alligators are so cute. I mean, I know a lot of people are scared of them or think they're ugly, but I think they're so cute. I mean, and funny. Alligators and crocodiles are just comedy gold to me. Their snouts are very funny. Just
Yeah.
seeing someone like fictionally, of course, be attacked by one is hilarious to me.
Oh yeah, and
You know,
also you can't forget about the anime where Ash's Totodile was fighting a Kingdra and it won by holding the Kingdra's bubble beam in and it blowing up like a balloon
Mm,
because he would not let go of the Kingdra's mouth.
that's crazy. It's like the most ridiculous mouth to mouth anyone has ever seen. But I was curious too, now that I was thinking about it. I guess one of the biggest reasons that you kind of got me interested in the fact that it's like we have like the two Johto starters and then Tepig is that like we saw what they did with the starters in Legends Arceus. And I'm really curious to see what they're gonna end up doing with them here. Like, I guess do you have like any thoughts or ideas about like what each of them is going to end up as they end up evolving? Like, I guess
I
there's like this.
I know there's this shoo-in that people think that Chikorita is going to evolve into a grass fairy. I can see that for sure. And especially later, you're going to see in the trailer that it looks like Chikorita has a disarming voice in its move set now,
Hmm.
which which it doesn't actually have. It doesn't actually learn right now. Like from what I know, you
Ooh, interesting.
Chikorita doesn't learn disarming voice at all. So maybe that does suggest it might be a fairy type.
That would
I
be
th-
pretty interesting. Honestly, funny enough to me, for whatever reason, the first thing I thought of, not really based on any empirical evidence like that, but kind of the vibes that I got, I feel like Chikorita would make for like a funny sort of like grass dragon. Because I mean,
I
it
could
already kind
see
of has
that.
like a bit of a
Like,
dinosaur motif with
yeah,
its third evolution.
exactly.
I feel
I
like
could
leaning
see
more
that.
into like that reptilian sort of angle, just
yeah,
make it like a full-on dragon would be kind of an interesting take for it.
and it would
Well,
it
let me
would
say this. If Altaria can be a dragon, then Chikorita definitely can. And no offense to
Oh
Altaria
yeah.
because I love it, but that thing is a bird with fluff on it.
Here's a bird.
yeah. Well, the biggest thing too, I can also attest to that because randomly, I think it was in Gen 7. I'm not sure. Randomly, they decided to put Outrage in Meganium's moveset, so that kind of fits the dragon motif. Like, and
Interesting.
When I think of Meganium, I don't think of Outrage, but it's a dragon type
Well,
move.
if they make it a dragon type, I hope they make it like a flower dragon. Like, not exactly the same as the Meganium we have now, but kind of keeping that as part of its motif would be really cool, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they leaned in like, I feel like if they gave it like funny enough, like even like an even longer neck than it already has, like slendering out the body a little bit, and then just giving it like a flower spread across the body to kind of like compensate for
What,
what
like
it might end up
mine
losing.
showing up a trellis kind of thing?
Oh yeah, seriously. Here's the biggest thing with Chikorita, and I know with Meganium, the reason why it only has like that one flower is because of sprite limitations.
That makes sense.
Back in the day, they really focused on making the head like a lot a lot more like um, what's the word I'm looking for?
Prominent.
Yeah, prominent.
Detail?
So the body kind of suffers because they only had 256 by 256 even in Gen 2. So now I think the designs could get more complex with the flowers, and they could have like flowers growing on more than just its body, or sorry, more than just its neck.
And I think that would be a cool angle to take it too.
Yeah, as I said, it could be like flowers going up a trellis.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Say,
Um,
any thoughts on Tepig? Like,
I,
you have any idea where that's gonna end up?
I have two. I have two ideas. I think it could turn into either a fire dark or a fire steel type.
Ooh, I like
I'm
the idea of another fire steel type. That would be kind of interesting. And
I'm going off more of the move sets that they have. I
yeah,
feel
I
like
remember you brought it up earlier too when we were having our conversation. The whole thing of how, like, Embor's signature move Heat Crash, like, you can't even really use it properly because it's not really that heavy of a Pokemon. Like, the obvious solution to that, make it a steel type, because just about every steel type is naturally pretty heavy. So you just make it even heavier than it already is with the steel type, give it Heat Crash anyway, and then suddenly it becomes a move that's actually, like, really legitimately worth using.
yeah, and it's got
Yeah, but
have
typing doesn't dictate weight. I mean, we do have Klefki in the steel family after all,
That
and
is
that
true.
thing is a pair of car
yeah.
keys.
But this is where I actually like with Tepig, I thought a lot more about it than the other two. Um, and I was thinking they could give it like an ability like heavy metal to double its weight.
Ooh, that's a good point too. Like, if they
Um,
really want to lean into Heat Crash as, like, the thing for Tepig, like the Tepig line that really make it stand out, then basically anything that plays around with its weight in some way would be, like, the easiest fix.
yeah, and it
Either that
already
or they'll just come up with a new move like they did for, I think, basically all of the Legends Arceus starters,
yeah.
where they just come up with a whole new thing to kind of make them stand out and be interesting in that way. But I guess it all depends on what the secondary typing for the new Tepig line ends up being.
Yep.
But
And
I feel like that's part of the fun of having these speculations, because we get to, like, kind of think about, like, what direction would they take them in to make them more interesting? Because I feel like that was the whole idea behind a lot of the starters in Legends Arceus. Just find a way to make them unique from what they already were. Not
I
that I
really
think
like
Rowlet
my
needed the help.
Stoner Typhlosion a lot in Legends Arceus. I was never like a huge Typhlosion fan. Like it was okay, but I wasn't like, oh, this is the coolest Pokemon ever. But then when they added the Stoner one, I knew who I wanted on my team like immediately.
Oh, you know what? I just thought of something too. Like, this might be, like, reaching a little too far for it, but when I'm thinking back to the starters in Legends Arceus, like, we had, like, the Water Dark, the Fire Ghost, and the Grass Fighting. Like, we kind of had, like, a bit of a funny synergy thing going on there where, like, every Pokemon in the line was, like, quad effective or, like, hard countered against the other one. If we were to go in that direction, then Grass Fairy would make sense, then with Tepig being Fire Steel. Because in that way, it would act in the hard counter in the same way that Hisuian Samurott would counter Hisuian Typhlosion.
you see, that's exactly what I was thinking, because if you're gonna hear my Totodile thoughts, and you're gonna see that it does line up, because I was thinking that they were gonna give Totodile the water ground type,
Mmm.
lean more into its crocodilian nature of like being on the floor. I literally think that they might get it down on its fours for its final evolution.
I suppose that makes sense. I feel like the only thing that kind of, like, the only real chink in that armor, so to speak, is that, like, yeah, water ground sounds like a fun type and it kind of makes sense, but I'm kind of thinking, like, when I'm thinking back to the starters for Legends Arceus, it's like, yeah, you had Dark fight effective against Ghost, fighting against Dark, and then fighting ineffective against Ghost. Like, you can see the through line from Fairy
Yeah,
Chikorita to Steel Embor, and then from ground Totodile to steal Embor, but then I guess aside from the basic typings, where's the connection between ground and fairy?
You see, the biggest problem is
Oh,
that
I just really can't imagine Fraligator being on all fours. It's like if they decided to put, I don't know, Trico or Blaziken on all fours. It would look odd to me, to say the least.
yeah, I
I can
could
see
see
where you're
that.
coming from, but I don't know if I would go that far with it, because I mean, with Blaziken, like, at least with Blaziken specifically, like, it has those really stubby arms, and I mean, I guess Alligator's arms aren't, like, super long, but it feels more feasible to me seeing it on all fours than something like Blaziken.
Well, actually, to be fair,
I just can't imagine it. I can't imagine them like. That's why, for example, Samurott looks so radically different from the first two characters in its evolution, is because I could not imagine, say, Duat being on all fours. So I
Yeah,
can't really imagine them taking a bipedal Pokemon and putting it back on all fours.
yeah, that makes sense, and now that you mention it, I feel like I kind of have the same disconnect between the Skeledirge line, where, like, you have
I
Fuecoco and Crocolore, and they're both on their hind legs, and then you got Skeledirge, and it's on all fours.
I could kind of see the typing being feasible, though, if I'm going to be honest.
well, here's the funniest thing. You're bringing up Samurai because in the anime, the few times we see Samurai, it actually is on its hind legs. Because the whole thing is
That
that
Hmm.
the whole thing
that would
is
look
that
weird.
the whole thing is that it takes off its shell armor to be like dual swords.
Mmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I
Just
guess.
makes me think of like imagining a dog standing on its hind legs.
yeah, it kind of gives
With
you that vibe.
I've seen pictures of, but it looks odd.
Yeah, it kind of gives you those vibes.
Yeah, I mean, I can kind of
It's
imagine in
like
that case, it's
Brian
probably just
Griffin.
work with what you got.
It's Brian Griffin.
It's like, yes, my favorite starters: Typhlosion, Decidueye, and Brian Griffin.
Hey, I'm not insulting Brian Griffin because I kick it all the time.
I mean, hey, I picked Samurott too. I love that thing. It's so much fun. It's like just
Actually,
just the
think
mental
the
image was
samurai
funny more than
unicorn
anything.
thing is really unique in a cool way.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm kind of interested to see where they end up going with the starters, but I like this kind of speculation. It's kind of interesting to think of, like, where will they go from here? Which, I mean, I figure if it's anything like Legends Arceus, we're only really gonna find out when the game actually releases. So if nothing else, we've got the time to speculate. Oh, and speaking of, yeah, I guess that's in there now.
Techie, I put it in general to show you the hind legs samurai.
I mean, we really see it from the top up, but it is a cool image at the very least. Just it
Oh,
pulling out
so
the
they
dual
always show it
swords.
from the top up? Well, no wonder then. It would just look so weird with its little legs standing on all fours if you saw the full model.
Oh, I got a second one at least, but it's hard to. Once again, this is so it's hard to find. Oh God, it's Bandicam.
Oh fuck, we're back in 2007.
But it's
Everybody up and
but
reverse.
it like just finding the full episodes. Like I'm just looking on gifs online, but
Hmm.
you
That is
do see
so
it.
weird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it
I
doesn't
don't
even really
think
seem like
that
it's
form of
standing long enough to
animation
leave an
is really
impression.
doing it for me.
yeah. Hey, we beat it. We just did a 10-minute segment on a second clip, and this is just the three starters. Like like I stopped this because I just wanted to show how derpy Totodile looks, so we went all out.
Well, I mean, hey, think of it this way, Jaws. At the rate that this is going, we're gonna have an hour-long video by the end of this. Think of the ad revenue. All the
Yeah,
ads that you don't run on
I,
your videos.
I might, I might,
Um,
I'm, I might need help clipping it out though. So I might get you to help me with that.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Okay, let's keep going.
Yep,
and
let's move along.
Journey
eligible for
as you get to
ads.
know Lumio City and its inhabitants. Here are some of the colorful characters.
All right,
You know, let me-
I'm stopping again already. It's because someone brought up to me today that Vinny here. A lot of people are saying Vinny is going to be related to Lysander.
Listen,
I mean, with the sideburns, I can kind of see it.
What's going on?
I mean, I think it would make sense because wasn't the first game in the Legends series, didn't we have a lot of like characters that were just like ancestors of characters we knew and loved?
Yes, but this one seems to be descendants because it seems to be more in the future or more modern time.
So wait, are we gonna have like Lysander's Nepo baby son?
Yes,
Maybe.
I think from what it looks like they're uh maybe a couple or it, from what people have been seeing, they either say it's going to be like maybe 100 years in the future or just like a couple years in the future to where they were already building this. I don't know what to. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping for the latter because I'd love to see Tierno and and friends all like adults like living their adult lives. That'd be pretty cool.
Honestly, I feel like based just on like the environment design and all that sort of thing, like I'm making a lot of assumptions here because I don't really know. Like we won't know about the story about like the wild areas and all that until it comes to, but I kind of figured just based off of the architecture and everything like that, it probably is the latter just because it seems like a lot of the stuff that we've come to understand about Lumio City is about the same as it was in Generation 6. Like, it still has, like, all the same styles and electricity. Like, they don't really seem to have anything that's particularly crazy. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's in the extended cut here, but the big tease that they leave at the end of the trailer revolves around the Rotom phone, which I figure if they're using a Rotom phone as, like, a point of reference for, like, a big plot detail, then it's probably in like the same technological level as games like Scarlet and Violet and Sword and Shield, so it would only make sense that they're like at best this is probably like a few years ahead in the future where like the HoloLens or Holo VR, whatever it was in Generation 6, ended up advancing further into the Rotom phones that became more ubiquitous across the Pokemon world.
Oh, for
Also,
sure.
if anyone's wondering why we call him Lysander, it's because that's how Tomodachi Life pronounces his name. So we just kind of rolled with it.
Yes.
Or we could also call him Lysanderoth. It's you. Yes, it's
He also
me.
he also if we're gonna go by Legends Arceus, he's gonna be like the nicest fucking guy apparently. Like because you remember the person I forgot her name. Cyrus is
Cybele, I think.
Cybele her name was. I remember how she like always got her Abra to look after you because she secretly was like super worried for you the whole time.
Yeah, and let's not forget about Volo. I'm not gonna say anything more than that, but if you know, you know.
You only live once.
Techie
It's like if Miss Piggy said YOLO.
yeah. I remember Techie liked the other one of Cynthia's ancestors. I forgot her name now.
Kogita.
Kogita. She said she liked that like she was like an old lady with style. An older
Mm.
lady with style. Not old lady, sorry. Older lady.
I
She's
guess
like, when you see a girl and she's like, "Oh, when I'm old, I'm gonna become a witch." Like that's the type of woman they're imagining. Not like, crusty old Yubaba. They're imagining like an old lady who's very elegant and living her best life and is very mysterious, like Kogita.
honestly, with the idea that you just brought up, the first thing I thought of was Opal from
Yeah,
Sword and Shield.
Opal's awesome too, yeah. I think
Oh,
Techie knows who Opal
I
is.
love Opal.
It's like she is our favorite quirky old lady that is just out here to cause mischief and have fun, which
Besides
honestly is all we need.
besides her quiz that made me that made me think that her favorite color was pink when she said it was actually fucking purple.
I mean
That
that's
makes
just part of the
sense.
appeal. It's like she's purposely giving you that misdirection just to fuck with you. That's hilarious.
Consider it. Purple is red and blue, so if you mixed her dress colors together, it
Yeah,
probably would be
Tekki, Tech.
purple.
I actually got Tekki's son now. Oh, sorry, son. Sword. So she could eventually play Sword and give her opinion on the game. I don't know when she's gonna play it, but she does have it.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm kind of right now. I'm doing the Dreamlight Valley update, which, by the way, I don't know why they still haven't fixed it, but Jaws is probably happy about this. Ever since the Monsters Inc. update, it keeps giving my avatar wing ears.
Amazing.
He likes the way that it looks, so I mean, he's probably happy with that glitch, but
Yep.
yeah, I'm just playing that update right now. It's the Aladdin update. I'm very happy to have Princess Jasmine. I need to get Aladdin too, which is what I'm working on right now as we talk.
oh, nice. I'll
Okay.
say though, like, it's like I know I'm gonna turn this into like another 5-minute diversion somehow, but like
Well, that's the
Techie
point.
kind of got me on the idea of like it's like the funny old ladies. I guess what do we think of? I already forgot her name, but I guess what do we think of the CEO in the picture here?
I think her name is Jet, and I don't know much about her yet. I haven't actually looked. I haven't paid much attention to her, so that's what I was kind of gonna do in this. But,
Fair. I mean,
but
I feel like she kind of has like I don't know which way she's gonna lean because I mean. I feel like CEOs in Pokemon are basically just a coin flip on whether they're good or evil. Actually, that's not necessarily true. I mean, between Rose, Luzamine, I guess does Getsus count? I guess it doesn't really
no,
matter.
no. I think Cyrus is more of a CEO than Getsus.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, that tracks. I mean, okay, it's not so much of a coin flip, but I'm kind of curious to see like which way is she gonna end up. Like, are
Yeah,
we gonna end up having to fight her at some point, or is she actually gonna be like, it's like, oh no, I'm just a nice old lady that wants to help build the Lumio city to the best it can be.
yeah.
Like, I'm kind of hoping it's the former, honestly, because I mean, like, I'm all for sticking it to the rich, but at the same time, I feel like mixing it up every so often just
I
makes things a
really,
little more fun.
I really wanted this game to be about building up Lumio City because that's what they advertised to me in the first trailer all those months ago. So I thought that was an interesting concept, and just like imprinting a twist villain, I feel like would take away from that.
Fair.
Also, I like to point out that these two characters here are named Urban and Townie, and I think that's really fucking funny.
You know, and I will say too, I love like I don't know how everyone else feels right now, but I love their designs. Like they just feel pitch perfect for what we have going on here, and I can't wait to see more of them. I am so
Yeah,
looking
it
forward to
seems
seeing them.
it seems to be which the character you pick, you're gonna get the opposite. Which I'm not gonna say opposite gender because I don't know, but um, a lot of people are just saying, "Hey, this is just kind of a gender neutral design that they could imprint onto multiple characters."
Hey,
Makes
Jaws,
sense.
Yeah.
should I put a baby Pegasus or baby dragon on the beach?
Pegasus.
Okay.
Sword,
Yeah, the new
shield,
Star Path in Dreamlight Valley lets me
sword,
have
and
different
shield.
animals in the companion house, so I'm
Yeah,
gonna put a
we're gonna
little
we're gonna see
there.
we're gonna see the descendants of Swordbert and Shieldbert.
No,
sure.
Swordbird and
Who are
Shieldbird.
they? Who are they gonna be? Are they
My
gonna be like
boys.
Gunwort,
Daggerbert and
They're
Jaws.
so.
Breastplate
I'm
Gunbert.
sorry.
Jaws.
You can say what you want about that game, but Swordbird and Shieldbird.
They suck.
No.
Look.
They suck ass.
But the
They're funny.
hair.
Look.
They're funny.
They're
What
funny
is
and
so
they suck
good
ass.
about them? I
Fran-
don't like them either.
Francesca, I'm sorry, but if those two ever end up having offspring, then I will basically lose all hope in humanity altogether.
Come on, man.
But like,
Let her cook.
No, I'm not cooking.
Let her cook.
I'm not cooking. I'm just I just think
It's
that they're
like
funny
you burned the
designs.
saucepan.
Like
Look what you've done.
like they
Just
suck,
burned the
but come on, they
saucepan,
have a
she blew it
strong
up like
She's
filter.
making
Squidward when he falls off his bike.
she's making rat food sausage. She's
God.
making rat food sausage.
I'm making what's that party cheese salad?
Party cheese salad sausage. Okay, let's continue before we really derail this because we're not going to talk about Pokemon anymore.
Yeah,
Party cheese
let us move on.
Party cheese
Come on, it's
salad.
Sword Word and Shield.
Just hearing those words turns my stomach.
Either Urbane or Tawny.
Oh, it's Tawny, not Towny.
Where you'll be staying is
Holy
Oh
crap!
my
Why is he
God,
at least
ew.
tall as shit? I forgot about that.
I was gonna say he was
That
always
made me
tall as
howling.
shit. It's like
You'll
I remember like one thing I do remember is the ending for X and Y, and it's like he's a tall motherfucker. Like he stands above everybody else by like 3 feet at least.
To help people and
This is a cool part.
The city has set
Yeah,
up
I'm
I'm-
kind of curious to see like how exactly this plays into the world design because like just having whole parts of the city cordoned off to just have wild Pokemon flying around in there. Like I'm like more than anything, like I don't know if this is ever gonna actually be answered by the lore itself, but I'm curious about the logistics of these wild zones because
Okay, let me go back here for a second.
I kind of want to see
I
if they're
hope
gonna interact
God they don't
with
have
the...
those city workers shutting down paths again.
Yeah,
Just
but and
imagine
deliberately
getting-
letting people through. Still, that was the worst
Just-
part.
Just
Yeah,
imagine
but
getting
just
into the
like
game
to
and
walk
someone's
right
like,
past.
"Oh no, there's a blackout over here that everyone else doesn't care about, but we can't let you through." Like, who do you think you are? It's like, am I gonna commit an OSHA violation by walking past you? Get the fuck out of here.
I'd prefer if they just put blockades of random fat dancing guys again.
That was great.
Yes.
That was great.
That is the best blockade in the history of the series. It's like today we are dancing for no reason. Someday we'll be gone for no reason. What else do you need?
The reason why I wanted to stop here is because this is another location that I recognize. This is the area in which you go battle people in like you remember that area
But like where you go into the cafes
restaurant.
and battle people?
the restaurant you get to go to the restaurant daily and like battle and you could get like a lot of money because you could battle the rich people.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
like, this is that area.
Yeah, and what I find cool is that it's classified as a wild area, so I guess they're leaning into the fact that people battle here.
I guess that's always a possibility too, and I mean, of course, considering the fact that this is set in the future of Lumio City, we can't be sure how exactly the lore implications will kind of like play into why they decided like, okay, this area specifically is gonna be for the different wild Pokemon around here. And I guess now that I think about it too, I mean, of course, like all that's gonna be figured out in its own time, I'm sure, but I'm kind of curious how they figure, like, okay, which area are we going to give to which Pokemon and why? Like, do they have, like, a specific setup just for, like, do they consider, like, the ecosystems for each of these things? Or do they make them, like, specifically for the trainers that are coming through? There's, like, okay, this is the easy area, this is the harder area. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
we'll see.
pretty sure it's probably going to be like that from, like, a game design perspective, but, you know, I'm thinking about that sort of stuff because I feel like the world building for Pokemon is so important. And I really want to see them capitalize on that for a game like this, considering how much they did it for Legends Arceus in the first place.
I feel like they could theoretically balance both ideas because think about it, in real life, more difficult to live areas tend to have tougher creatures like Antarctica having polar bears, for example, roaming around.
Yeah. I'm actually curious to see how they're gonna get ice types in this game because it looks like because Lumios is dead in the center, and the ice area is way far away from Lumios City. So
Yeah,
I'll be
like,
surprised.
way out there.
I'll be surprised if there's a lot of ice types in this game. I'm calling it right now that there might not be that many ice types, but
You know what
we'll
they
see.
could
Not
do?
surprise me.
They could have like an abandoned ice rink that got claimed by ice types.
That'd be pretty cool. I think
Yeah,
they're
that'd
gonna
be a
add.
fun idea.
I think they're gonna add new areas to Lumio City because one thing I know about the 3DS is that they cut out a lot of Lumio City.
I mean, they
And
cut out a lot of like areas and content for X and Y in general just because they weren't able to find a way to fit it all. And I'm pretty sure it seemed like they had ideas for like DLC or expansion in mind, but they were never able to really capitalize on those either, which at least to me kind of makes the existence of ZA even more interesting because it's basically, at least to me, it feels like the third version of the Gen 6 games that we never got in the first place. Like, it's expanding on an area that desperately needs it.
yeah, because Lumios is a really cool city. And even as limited as it was one of the, in my opinion, it's still the best city to explore in Pokemon. It's my favorite city to explore because you could
Kinda
still
see
find
that.
you still find shit. I was still finding stuff that was just random.
It is
Also,
kind of funny you bring that up, though, because I feel like I've seen some memes floating around for a while, where it's like, oh boy, it's time to get lost in Lumio City again.
yeah, no, I like that part. I like that part of Lumio City. I feel like you should
Well,
be getting
maybe
lost
it'll
in the
be
city.
easier to see now that it's on like a newer console. Maybe it'll be easier to know where you're going.
And
You
I'm
know,
sure they'll probably have like more like specific landmarks and everything to make it more noticeable, like where exactly you are inside the city, like which district or what have you.
you still think they're gonna have the hold right to hatch eggs area?
I mean, we can only hope.
Do you remember? You remember because Lumio City is one of the best areas to hatch eggs. If you remember,
It's like
I think Tekki even
really
got a
all you had to do
shiny in
was go
that
to
game
sync.
because of it. Because of how
Oh,
easy it was to
beautiful.
hatch. Because of how easy it was to hatch eggs in Gen 6. There was just a circle path that you could just stick a dime in your 3DS and it would just move for you.
It's like
When
people jailbroke their 3DSs just to hatch eggs. I love
more
it.
popularity because I mean, it was a lot easier to Matsu the Pokemon with that in mind.
Yeah. Or you could be like that. I've said this video to Tekki a million times. I don't know if I said it to John. Uh, the guy hatching his eggs and he walks back and forth in his house, like in Gen 4. I like when he hits the wall and it goes boom. And I still think, in my opinion, I know this is getting off topic a bit. One thing that they should always keep in Pokemon is that sound. If you hit a wall, I love that fucking sound.
Well, they should bring back the sound for Dark Pulse. We need that.
Yes.
It just isn't the same without it. I'm sorry, but we need it back.
Yeah,
It's a very ominous sound.
and yeah, you can bring it back because they brought back the sound for Hyper Beam. When they got rid of the sound for Hyper Beam in Gen 6, people were pissed off. And then Gen 7 brought it back.
Which I mean, fair is like the Hyper Beam sound is just iconic.
Actually,
But you can't
they got
have
rid of it
Hyper
in
Beam
Gen
without
5.
that
I'm pretty
sound.
sure they got rid of it in Gen 5. What am I talking about? And brought it back for
Actually,
Gen
yeah.
7.
Yeah, that tracks.
Okay,
Carefully.
we'll go back.
Throw a Pokeball.
Yep, moving along.
If you're having a hard time
See
catching
more
it,
of this
have one
wild
Pokemon
area.
use its move
Look at this. Look, see? Because you could feint the Pokemon now and try to catch it.
I was gonna say, I didn't really notice that before. Like, is that a thing?
Look, watch its health. It goes down to 0, and then you could throw a Pokeball at it afterwards.
making it easier to catch.
Ah, it's like, I guess you have like a small window of time. It's like either it went
It
down
gets-
to like an absolute sliver, or it went down, like, there's like a small window where you can still catch it before it like completely faints. Either way, that's a really nice mechanic to have.
Yes, it's it dazes. It goes. It says it goes. What? Let me see. Where did it say it?
To weaken the target, making it easier to
Like, it
catch.
might say it a little further on.
Yeah, okay. It said it further in the trailer, but
This game offers a style
Well,
of
I guess
Pokemon
we'll
battle
find it when we
not
get
seen
along
in
to it.
previous titles.
I guess in the
Well-
meantime, we're actually gonna see how the game plays, and this is what I'm actually the most curious about. Because, like, there is no other Pokemon game, at least to my knowledge, that really plays like this.
Look
like,
at that.
Outside of fan games, obviously.
I loved that. If you see, look at this right here. This is probably one of my favorite parts of the game. You could just react to an attack with Protect like this.
It's like, it actually makes it, like, such a fun move to use, which, I mean, Protect is always good. Like, it's always a good move to have on your Pokemon, but then being able to use it like this, like, that's just fun. Like, like that is taking advantage of the fact that you have, like, a live action battle system instead of going turn-based, which, I mean, I said this to Jaws in the other chat, too. I mean, I love turn-based battles, don't get me wrong. Persona 5 is probably one of my favorite games of all time, and that is, like, it's an entirely turn-based game. But I feel like for a lot of people, the fantasy of having a Pokemon game where everything happens in real time, like, people have wanted that for years, and you know what? I'm people. Like, I see this, and I'm hopeful that it's like, I can finally just, like, command my Pokemon in real time and do stuff like this, like you would see in the anime.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of anime, there is one announcement from today that made me really happy. That Pokemon Concierge is getting more episodes. That made me very happy because
Yeah, I'm probably gonna watch the 4 free episodes that they put out on their channel because I haven't seen the series yet.
Yeah, I was just about to
thank
make a
you.
PSA for that on the stream because I went and watched the episodes before I ended up getting into the stream, and it is some of the coziest Pokemon content I think we've ever had, and honestly, it's probably the best advertisement that you could ever give me for Netflix because it's like, oh, here's this show that we have. More episodes are going to be coming soon. It's like, what? It's like, what do you mean? Where do I put my money? I want to watch this now.
I really like, the overall style of the show. It is very cozy. I think the stop motion aesthetic they used is really good because keep in mind, before this, the studio was making similar shows about Real Akuma, which is a teddy bear mascot character that I also happen to really enjoy that show as well.
Hmm.
And I think taking that direction for Pokemon was such a good idea. And I also like that Psyduck gets to be the star for a change. I mean, of course, your popular Pokemon like Pikachu is still there, but Psyduck gets a lot of spotlight, and I love Psyduck, and I relate to him because sometimes I get migraines too. So
Oh
I like
yeah.
that he's being treated nicely and he's, getting the spotlight because I love him. I mean, he's kind of one of the OGs of Pokemon too, but I mean, back then you always had like Misty being like, "Oh, I didn't want you, you stupid duck." Like, and it's not like that
Wow,
at all. It's
that
really
Misty impression was
sweet.
so on point.
But yeah, I agree with you there. It's like, after having seen it myself, I love Psyduck in the show. Like, it's just a fun little companion for Haru to take along on basically all of her, like, little Pokemon related adventures. And it really does help a lot. Like, it is legitimately just a great Pokemon to have around, and like the little back and forth that they have between each other is so much fun to watch. I honestly, one of my favorite parts of the show.
Yeah, and it just looks so fuzzy. Everything looks so fuzzy, like you want to hold it in your hand. And also, fun fact, my mom refers to Psyduck as side duck.
That's pretty
I
funny.
don't think she made the connection between psychic and duck, so she mishears it as side duck.
It's like, yes, I will have the duck with a side of potatoes. That is how I like my duck.
I love Psyduck. I mean, he's cute. He looks funny. I mean, I
Okay,
even liked him in Detective Pikachu, if I'm being honest, and they made him look kind of scary in that, but I mean, I still found him a little lovable despite how scary his design was, and he didn't get it the worst in the movie. I would say they probably did Apom the most dirty.
Yeah, I never got around to seeing. I never got around to playing any of the Detective Pikachu games or watching the movie myself. I really need to catch up on those, but
The games don't use the movie designs.
I know they don't. Like, the movie is just its own beast. I mean, you sure as hell don't hear Ryan Reynolds voicing the Pikachu in the games.
all right.
No, to be fair, they did get the guy who made all those like spooky, like what if Pokemon was real illustrations to make the designs for the movie. So some definitely look scarier than others. Some look really cute, like Pikachu, but then I mean, you have Greninja, which I personally thought the Greninjas looked really cool, but I know they caused a lot of nightmare fuel in people because they're just like, giant bipedal frogs that also have the reflexes of ninjas.
Hmm.
Those Pokemon
can
are
see
probably going
that.
to be in this game too.
And they just kind of like grab
Greninja.
people out of nowhere. I mean,
I still can't see myself running. Like I really hope that this is me with like this is why I'm like so like on the fence about picking Chikorita because I still want to frickin' run Chestnut.
I feel you, and honestly, I feel like it would be kind of weird if there was just no way to get the Kalos starters in Kalos. Like, it would just kind of feel like a weird missed opportunity sort of thing, you know?
Yeah,
Especially considering that it's like, you would imagine, like, this is getting kind of meta, but I feel like I could imagine, like, years in the future, like, whenever the game takes place, like, you have people breeding all sorts of starters just to get the shiny versions. It's like, where do you think they all end up? Well, it's like, what if we made just a wild zone somewhere in the city for all of those breeding rejects to go? Just imagine.
yeah.
It's like, they gotta go somewhere, right?
I assume they just clogged up like shelters and daycares and stuff.
It's
You
probably
know,
attacking.
that is the cute
They
ending. I
probably
want to believe
they've probably been attacking Professor Oak. Oh wait, no, those are Ash's Pokemon.
that.
Upper hand.
Poor Professor Oak.
Always the butt of jokes.
This is another one that I like. You put up Stealth Rock and it puts like a trap on the screen.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how like hazard play is gonna take shape in Legend ZA because like just looking at Stealth Rock, like it obviously retains the same sort of style that you would expect, but it clearly looks so much different from anything else we'd really seen of Stealth Rock up to this point.
Yeah. This actually kind of works like how it works in Mystery Dungeon. Because what
Oh, you
Stealth
know,
Rock does at Mystery Dungeon, it puts the trap of it on the floor, and after a few turns, the trap hides itself.
it's like I wouldn't know that because I never really played too far into the newer Mystery Dungeon games, so it's like I didn't really know how they would like. I mean, Spikes feels like it makes sense for that sort of thing, but I didn't figure like they would put Stealth Rock under the same sort of category. But it makes sense.
Yes, I've played a lot of Mystery Dungeon, and when you get a monster house with a bunch of Stealth Rock, it becomes a hazard to fucking move. It's very annoying.
I can imagine. It's like the worst thing next to just someone spamming Rock Blast.
Yep.
Which I mean, they could have both. Who says they can't have both?
Incoming attacks. Swap Pokemon if you need to and find the right
It's like,
moment to unleash.
I look at this and I have to wonder.
What's more,
I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense seeing it like this, but it's like I really wonder how the movement is gonna work in this game. Like, I guess how closely do the Pokemon follow your movements, and I guess what does it really mean for them?
What this shows me, like, I don't think this is gonna. I don't know if this is gonna be the same thing, but I was looking at Flamethrower here, and I thought
through battles and dodge
either the Pokemon are gonna have like the Pokemon that you fight are gonna have a different kind like this could be like maybe a harder Pokemon to fight, but it seems like given what I've seen with the cooldowns in the game, um maybe it looks like Flamethrower might be on a charge system
It could be.
because that's two Flamethrowers back to back.
Swap Pokemon if you need
Yeah,
to.
I
and
mean,
find
you
the right
figure
moment to
that for a situation like this, PP isn't gonna exactly work the same way that it does in like a regular scenario. It's not like you're pulling from like a
Look,
limited amount of moves that you could just pull from any time. It would make sense in a situation like this to have everything just kind of be like timer based in some way,
yeah, I
or
don't think
like you
there's
said,
PP in the
charge
game.
based.
I don't think there's PP in the game because it doesn't show PP on the screen.
Mm.
So Like that's something that you would want to know if you have enough.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Unleash a move.
No PP.
What's more, certain Pokemon
The
can
the
move
PP
beyond
is
evolution
gone.
by undergoing Mega
But you know what isn't gone? Mega Evolution,
Evolution
baby.
resonates with the Mega
And
Stone held by
you
the
know what? I
Pokemon.
know,
The
like,
Pokemon will do
even
more
if
than
it,
just
I know
finish
that
you.
it is coming back, but I feel like
It'll
from
unlock
everything
a
we've seen
new
in the
level of
trailer so
power,
far,
turning
like,
the
I don't know if
typical
it's just like a
battle
pie in the sky sort of dream, but I really want to see like
As Lumiose
like
continues
new
its
Mega
transformation
Evolutions. Like
into a
I want
city
to
that
see them give it to more Pokemon because that would just it would be so good. It would oh my god. Like I'm a sucker for Mega Evolution. Like I'm not even gonna try to hide it, but like
I
if
want to.
they were to go and give that to like more Pokemon, actually, you know what? Now like imagine they give Megas to all the starters with
I
their
think
new
they. I
forms.
think they will. I think they will. I think that's basic. I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen.
Which I
Mega
guess in some sense all but confirms that there will be new Mega Pokemon, and
Also,
I'm looking forward to see when the
also,
seeing what they cook.
Mega Meganium just sounds funny, so I want it to happen.
Mega Meganium.
Um,
Mega Mega Man.
I also want to point out that the model's definitely got an upgrade because it look at just look at uh Gyarados here and look at how it's actually got a fully functional face.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least graphically. Like obviously, I would have to see how it performs, but
See, it's
at least
like
graphically, this feels like a step up from Scarlet and Violet, which
like
you would
okay.
hope at the
Let me.
very least.
Can I slow this down for a second? Because I know this is like really small, but it caught my eye. Oh man, we should have been watching this in fucking 1080p shit.
I mean, it's probably not gonna matter for once it goes to the YouTube video anyway.
Yeah, it's true. Playback speed.
True.
We'll do that. And look at its eyes. See? I freaking love that. I love that it just looks at the Pokemon like, what the fuck are you doing?
Really just giving that sussy look to that Magikarp that just ended up passing by.
John said sus.
Shush. But yeah. Yeah, we're almost done this trailer, so let's see if we get through it.
Who knows what kinds of encounters
Yeah.
and experiences will await.
This is
See what else we got.
this picture right here is making people furious because they know they're gonna have to go on a fucking quest to collect all of them.
It's like they're back. It's like
I'm-
you're gonna. It's like, oh, Mr. Trader, you're gonna have to go around and collect 100 Zygarde cells. God damn it, we already did this in Alola. Don't make me do it again.
I'm kind of
Please.
excited for it. Like if this game looks exciting to explore. So
Yeah, I mean, like it's funny we didn't really see it in the extended trailer, but like at least in the original version, like they showed off like some of the parkour features, which I'm really interested to see how that plays out. Just like being able to like glide from like rooftop to rooftop.
and it literally did you get it? We got a dedicated human jump button, which I think is very nice.
It's like yes, we got it just in time. Well, actually, I guess it was technically like 5 years. Wait, when did Breath of the Wild come out? Fuck. Yeah, it came out when the Switch came out.
8 years ago now.
Holy shit, we're old. But it's like, I mean, I guess it only took 8 years until Link got a jump button, but we finally got there.
It's
But I
because
mean,
we're adults. It's because we're adults. Kids can't jump in Pokemon. That's the thing that you gotta realize.
Shit, that's right. We finally
their
have adult
squishy
protagonists.
little legs have not fully formed, so they cannot jump.
That's something that I wanted to bring up too. I'm really happy that we actually get to play as adults for once. I think that's really cool.
It's like,
Like-
I didn't want to assume. It's like I didn't really want to assume anything because, like, I kind of wanted it to be like an open and shut sort of thing. But like the protagonists and the rivals do look like they're more grown up than your usual Pokemon characters, and that definitely seems like it would be something interesting. Like, I wonder if they'll do anything with the fact that you're more grown up from a story perspective.
Maybe
looks-
they'll let you. Maybe they'll let you be besties with Schoolboy Fredo. Remember Schoolboy Fredo?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, odds are by the time we see him, he's not going to be a schoolboy anymore.
Hey, you know
Yeah,
what? Maybe we
he
can. Maybe we can.
graduated, but he basically looks like Homer Simpson wearing a child's hat and shorts.
Maybe we'll. Maybe we'll be able to. Maybe we'll be able to sleep with Sycamore's descendant, because he's gonna be hot.
Whoa. Whoa. Well.
Damn,
Whoa, whoa,
these
whoa,
bitches
whoa.
gay. Good for them.
Whoa. Whoa.
Good for them.
You like that I
Techie.
said it like
Yeah.
JFK?
Yeah. Techie sold me on the fact that Sycamore is a hot professor.
I mean,
yeah, I mean,
he
as
always
far as
was.
Pokemon professors go, he's definitely on the higher tier of things.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like,
Along with-
what else is your competition there, Professor Elm?
Well,
I
him.
mean, Professor Juniper is pretty cute, and then that's the woman, right?
Yes.
Professor
Yeah.
Juniper, and then who is the fat guy? I think his name was Birch or something.
Yeah,
Birch is good though. I
from-
like Birch. Birch is awesome.
Yeah, he's got nice vibes, and honestly, I've always been partial to Professor Rowan myself, where it's like, he's not really like hot in a traditional sense, but it's like he's got Silver Fox vibes.
I guess maybe if you count Pokemon Sleep, which everyone forgot about, maybe the professor from that.
Yeah, no, he's cute too.
Oh yeah, and let's not forget the ultimate power couple in Pokemon history, Kukui and Burnet.
I love Kukui.
It's like
I mean,
those two are so good together.
Whoops.
I love them so much.
All right, let's see.
Professor Rowan to me, he's
Pokemon
just
Legends
like my
Arceus.
nice grandpa.
Coming late 2025.
Fair.
But I see the vision. I mean, I'm just not really into old dudes personally, but I see the vision for those who are, because he is a snazzy dresser.
All right, and coming late 2025. Which, I mean, I guess that's fair. I mean, I would rather them push the game as far as it can go,
Yeah,
just to be like,
I said it today that the fact that there's not that many announcements is a good thing, because it really seems like they're taking their time with this game.
I sure hope so.
Like,
Yeah.
last thing I want is for this game to run at freaking 5 frames a year, man. I don't fucking want that to happen.
yeah, it's like, for as much as I love Scarlet and Violet from a gameplay perspective, like, we do not need another one of those. Like, I just want the game to run at a competent frame rate, a decent resolution, with minimal glitches of, like, the graphical variety. Like, if I get that, I'm set. I'm happy. It's like, 'cause I feel like the main thing that's really come out of like Pokemon discourse over, like, I'd even say the past 2 generations is that it feels like Game Freak is just like, it's like, they're just phoning it in. They're not really putting in the proper effort to make these games the best that they can be, which, like, I can kind of get where they're coming from, but at the same time, like, when you levy a lot of that argument against, like, graphical performance specifically, part of it feels just like, it feels a little disingenuous, but at the same time, it's like, I can't exactly deny that, like, if they really were giving it all the time that they needed, then Scarlet and Violet would not have released with as many performance issues as it did. Like, it is legitimately a travesty that it's like, when you compare it to a game like Breath of the Wild that is able to run as relatively cleanly as it does, that they decided to release Scarlet and Violet in that state. I love those games. I will reiterate that as many times as I have to, but it is genuinely upsetting that Scarlet and Violet released in the state that it did, and they just never fixed it.
Huh.
Like, I legitimately do wish, like,
Oh, Cooper.
I just wish they did something about the performance issues. That's all I really wanted. But, such is
Sorry
life.
to interrupt you, John. The puppy came up to say hi.
Yes, you gotta say hello to Cooper.
Hmm.
Okay. So I guess what I wanted to bring up next because I went to the site. I wanted to see if there was anything on the site that we could see.
Hmm.
This might actually be good for seeing what they could possibly evolve into because this is actually like so it's talking about how Chikorita is gentle, but it seems to but it also seems to be uh a fierce attacker with its leaf,
Hmm.
and how Tepig is a ravenous glutton that's also quite nimble. So maybe something along the lines of maybe the evolved Emboar could be a faster Pokemon than Tepig was.
That would be
Mm.
kind of a nice switch up.
The
And
puppy came up to sit here.
how Totodile says it would bite its trainer. You know, that could show some water dark typing in the final form.
It's like, ah, we got another water dark type. Damn them. Damn them.
I'm okay with water dark. I don't think. See, I'm not. I don't like to look at Pokemon evolutions by how many we've gotten in the past. Like I understand the whole firefighting meme, but if it makes sense for a Pokemon, you should give it to that Pokemon.
Yeah, I feel like thematics work way more than basically anything else. Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, I'm all for like good game design and stuff like that, but these are creatures at the end of the day. You are selling us on creatures that exist in this world under specific classifications. So you
Like
would figure that if a Pokemon exhibits certain traits, they should be a certain type. Which
like
is why I've always been kind
I
of bothered that Gyarados is still water flying to this day. Like that's a fucking dragon. Why is it not a dragon?
Well, when has it ever flown? It's a sea
Exa-
serpent.
it can't even learn
exactly.
fly. It learns bounce. That's its best flying type move. And
Like
her
that's my whole point. It's like
and
if you're
hurricane.
going to give a Pokemon a typing, it has like it should make sense for what the Pokemon itself actually is. And like even if it means we end up with another water dark type, if it means that it's fitting for something like the Kalos for alligator, then I'm happier with that than giving it a new type just because they want it to be a new type. Oh my
That's
god,
just Urbane and
I
Tony.
love these designs. I love them so much.
Hey, Tekka, do you like Urbane and Tawny?
Like these designs are just so fun. Like Urbane's outfit just looks so comfy, and then Tawny just like she's kind of like sporty and stylish. Like
Yeah, for sure.
they both just look lovely, which I mean,
Jesus.
when you consider when you consider that it's like, yeah, we're in the Kalos region, it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm
And also
excited. I'm excited to see what they do with fashion in the game because Kalos really still is the fashion region, and I think it still had the best options for clothing.
yeah, and I mean, if nothing else, I mean, they had clothing customization in the other Legends game. It only makes sense that we have it in Legends ZA too.
Yeah, and then you have fucking 3 meters tall Az over here.
It's like all 3 meters of 3,000 years of whoop ass.
Man, that I don't know if Floette's gonna be. I'm actually quite interested to see what they do with Floette, too.
I was gonna say, I kind of figured the Floette would just kind of be like a tag along, but the fact that they gave it like its own little spot under AZ makes me think maybe it will play like an actual major role in the story, which I mean, I guess could that at all be related to the ancient weapon that happened in the Kalos region all that time ago?
You know, I'm also just noticing now, but Floette reminds me a lot of Techie
It's just like
because of the
just got
because of
nice
the twin
colors and
tails,
vibes, very tiny.
the twin tails. Does Techie take that as a compliment or no?
Hey, sorry for disappearing. I had to go to the washroom.
Wow.
It's okay.
Well,
Yeah, but
everything I said there was everything that I was talking to her about. She didn't even hear it. That's okay.
yeah, we were just talking about how it's like Floette reminded Jaws of you because like it has the twin tails, the pastel colors. It's very tiny. I added that last part more than anything.
I think she's gone again.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
I'm not gone. I just migraine, so I might not respond the quickest.
Ah, that's
But
okay.
I do like Floette. I can't say I ever really used it, but I don't mind it. It's cute. It is one of my favorite types.
Ah, shit. Okay, everybody, pour one out for Jet, the best MapleStory class they took away from us. Fuck you, Nexon.
well, I'm gonna have to. I gonna have to admit when I'm wrong.
Why do you say that?
So the existence of Jet makes me wrong on how I've pronounced Rayquaza the whole time.
This is what finally makes you concede.
Because they did pronounce it Quasarico, Quasartico. Sorry, and if they're gonna pronounce it like that, then it is Rayquaza. So I have to
And
give.
just and
I,
just like that, I am validated. Years of arguing over this, and I finally have my validation.
and I'm still gonna call it Rayquaza because of habits.
I thought you were gonna say I'm still gonna call it Rayquaza because fuck you specifically.
Nope.
Yeah, that's fair. Understandable.
There's Vinny. I like that Vinny has a Bunary and a Pancham. Sorry, Pangoro in his hair.
I didn't really notice those before. That's kind of cute. It's like, would we see a softer side to this giant man?
Yeah. So it seems like Zygar's gonna be part of the story, which makes sense.
Oh my gosh. I
I
got
mean, you would
Aladdin
hope.
to move in, and he just gave me the magic carpet as a companion.
Oh, nice.
Some people are disappointed that the magic carpet is a companion and not a vehicle, which I can see, but I mean, it kind of works for both. Maybe they'll just do what Fusion Fall did with Octus and make him both a nano and a nano and Fusion Fall. In this game, we have pets, but maybe they'll make Magic Carpet a pet and a vehicle,
Could be.
and
Can
just
I
have
be can I be
two.
honest in saying that Mega Ampharos looks very yummy in this game?
What do you
I
mean
mean,
yummy?
It just I
How?
don't I it like its tail just looks like whipped cream in this game.
Oh,
I can kind of see it. Like, it has a very creamy vibe to it in the same way that Altaria's fluff kind of reminds me of, like, cotton candy.
Altaria just looks like cotton to me.
Tekki. So every time I reference something, I've been putting it in general. If you want to see what I'm saying.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, and then there's the Mega Absol, which I thought Mega Absol got like a really nice model glow up.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it does look very fuzzy. I love Mega Absol. I mean, Absol's one of my favorite Pokemon, so giving it a Mega form where it's kind of like an angel made me like it even more.
And what it looks like, and I saw this in the trailer. I didn't talk about it too much, but it looks like it's gonna change more than just your stats. It looks like the Mega Evolution is gonna change the properties of your moves too.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Like it
Yeah,
looked
I'm
like
kind of
the
curious to see how that plays out from a game design perspective.
do we all think that Mega Charizard is gonna get a third form? Because I do, unfortunately.
I hope to God not. I am sick of Mega Charizard. I'm sick of Charizard in general. And there's so many Pokemon that would do good with a Mega that haven't even gotten one yet. So I hope they don't milk Charizard even more.
I mean, if they just wanted to give a fire type Mega Evolution to a Pokemon that would be really cool and hasn't been overdone just yet, I mean, Volcarona's right there. I'm just saying.
Yes. Thank you. I mean, basically any fire type that's not Charizard, I would love to see. Same with
mean-
Mewtwo. Mewtwo already has 2 megas. He doesn't need
I
any
kind of
more.
want to. I kind of want to see a Mega Klotzer. I don't know why, but I think it'd be pretty funny.
I think that would be a fun idea.
Because
Just
they showed Clauncher a good amount in the trailer, so that's what.
make a giant enemy crab. You must hit its weak point for damage.
Okay, let's see if we see anything on this map. This is what I'm talking about, where it looks like the Pokemon really are just in harmony with people.
Oh, like just this map in particular?
Like look at you see the just the Magikarps swimming around while people are just walking. It's nice to see like the what is this thing called again? Scatterbugs looking up at Vivillon just flying through the city.
Yes, let's pet the carpet. Why not?
Honestly, I feel like the side image here that gave me the most impression is just the Houndoom that's just vibing in the middle of the road.
Yeah, that Houndoom is awesome.
It's like, of all the Pokemon that just kind of have sitting in the middle of the road where everyone is just like, yeah, sure, whatever, that's just fine, that's just a common thing, is like, they chose Houndoom of all Pokemon, which I'm pretty sure is known for having like a particularly violent disposition, but if people are just letting it be, just letting it live its life, then I mean, that really sells the whole thing, at least for me.
Yep. And I guess that's all I have to talk about for this. It
Yeah,
looks
I
really
mean-
interesting. I'm definitely enjoying this style of content, so we might be doing this for other things too.
Oh yeah, I would be down to do this again. It was a lot of fun to like really just dissect everything that's been going on through here, and I hope for everyone that's watching live or may not watch it when the YouTube video eventually gets made, I hope you all enjoyed it too. And hopefully we didn't sound like complete idiots with some of our predictions, especially me, because I'm assuming that I'm probably going to be completely off base with a lot of this stuff.
Well,
But
I
hey,
mean, we're not market out analysts. We're just a couple of friends shooting the shit.
very true. Very true. It's like, we may be fans, but we are by no means experts. So, take whatever we say with a grain of salt. This was just a fun thing for us to do, and hopefully you all had fun too.
What's next? Are we going to hyper analyze the Shrek trailer?
No, we get
So, yeah,
copyright stricken for that.